Welcome back to episode 3 of my 1973 Datsun 240Z restoration. And my plan for this video is going to be to go ahead and get the engine pulled out of this car. Now, I have done a little bit of work to this car, kind of off camera. I was going to make a video about it, but it just didn't really pan out into anything really meaningful for anybody to watch it. So what I've gone ahead and done is I have pulled the hood off because obviously it's a clamshell hood. So if you want to come in with an engine hoist, the hood is going to be in the way. So the hood is off of the car. And as well, what I've done is I've also removed the bumper, the grille, kind of the fascia, the big bumper supports that would have come through about here, just to pretty well maximize the amount of space that I have available to come in here with the engine hoist. I may need to pull the hood tension rods off, but there's just, I believe, 4 bolts holding that on. But realistically, I don't think I'm going to need to because this is a fairly stout engine hoist that my buddy is letting me borrow, which I'm very appreciative of. So I've got that pretty well ready to go. What I do still need to do first is to go ahead and pull that out of the box. That is the engine stand, which I've purchased, which is sitting next to the gas tank of the car. But I need to go ahead and get that assembled because I need to see what the length, came out of focus, see what the length is of the little bolts, which I'm going to kind of show you what I mean, before I go run to the store and pick up a bolt that I can put through at the back of the block so I can come in here and yank this out. All right, so what we have here that I've purchased is the JEGS 2,000 pound capacity engine stand. This thing was about 250 bucks, and I believe it's probably one of the least expensive engine stands for that weight capacity. And you know, it's an inexpensive engine stand. You can look kind of over it, you can kind of see stuff. Here's one. That's probably one of the more telling things. This right here, that's a section of welding rod from wherever they were trying to, you know, make this weld right here, and they just left it on there, painted over it. These are not going to be the most impressive pieces of craftsmanship, I guess is the best way to put it. But this should still be beyond strong for what I needed to do, which is to hold the motor. It's in the Datsun, which might be like 300 and 400 pounds, something like that. So it should do fine. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this set up on like a time lapse, maybe something like that, just kind of show you how I'm going to put it together. The instructions, which are right here, are very loosely, I mean, really not the worst instruction rule. They actually have words. But I mean, it's all right there, kind of showcasing, you know, what goes where and how it's going to go together. And, you know, it's just kind of just getting it together. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. All right, so forget the time lapse. This is a really jank engine stand, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish putting it together. But I wanna kind of show you a few of the things. I'm not even done putting it together yet, but kind of what's wrong with this engine stand so you don't have to buy it. So this kit came with a lot of missing hardware. Like there was only, you know, 2/3 of the nuts needed to put the casters on the wheels. There was the wrong length bolts to go through the casters to actually install it. And as I've discovered after I got past those issues, going to Home Depot and buying some washers to stack them and just kind of make it work, this right here, because it's a folding style engine stand, I'm gonna try to show you as best I can. You're supposed to have, like on this side, 2 of these little pins to hold it together so that way it's stable and sturdy, and you can, when you want, you can fold it up. Because there are these bolts down here, which you need to have the casters so it'll stay upright whenever you're not using it as an engine stand, the holes that initially these little pins would go through were in the wrong spot. Because what they did is they drilled out this hole, lined up with this hole without any nuts in place, and those nuts, or without those bolts in place, and those bolts interfere with this fitment. So what I had to do was mark out where it needed to get cut out to open up this hole so I can go ahead and put these through. So that's currently where I'm at with this, and I've now misplaced the instructions, or they've blown away in the wind. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of focus on getting this thing knocked out, getting it put together, just so that I can forget about putting together this stupid engine stand, and then from there, go ahead and just get the engine yanked out. All right, so the engine stand is fully assembled. I really would not recommend purchasing this engine stand. Really not a lot of great things to say about it. The welds aren't fantastic. I kind of assumed that was going to be the case, but all the missing hardware and the fact that none of the bolts that come in that, you know, do exist or even the right length, like this is, you know, there's no space for the washer that's provided and you're said to install with this, because, you know, I mean, yeah, you could, but it's not even fully seated on the bolt. I mean, this is just kind of pretty pathetic, but nonetheless, it is put together. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead. I've got the engine picker right here. I'm going to pop the garage door open and swing in here and basically just grab the engine. I've already cracked the engine mount bolts. It's a little dark, can't really see down here, but I've already got these nuts and bolts cracked loose a little bit ago. So they're going to be ready to come out, especially once the tension comes off of this, when the hoist starts picking it up. I have the chain. I've got a bolt hooked in right here onto the little, you know, mounting hook, removal hook, whatever you want to say, that's installed on mine. I'm assuming that's standard fare on most of these cars. You could probably pull it off. I mean, it's literally just one bolt right there. Really probably wouldn't cause any issues. And then at the back, I've got a bolt. It's a little hard to see, it's a little fuzzy back there, but I've got a bolt back there threaded into the block of the engine where the transmission would bolt up. I do have a washer on there, or a couple washers on there protecting the threads from the chain. And once I get this up and out of here, I do want to try to clean up the threads that is bolted into, you know, a bit better than they are, because I know they're very dirty inside. I really don't want to crack or strip a thread out, because I'm trying to force threads in there just to install here on the stand. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead, like I said, pop the door open, come in here with the crane, and get to pulling the motor. All right, so now I think we got it high up enough. Let's try and move this. Trying to hook around the wheel so I don't have this go rolling down my driveway. Whew, man. So here's kind of what I'm looking at. I would like to bring that in this way so I can come in, bolt the little black piece up to the motor, and then just kind of pick that up, set it on the motor, and then drop it down all as one unit with the hoist. My issue is that leg of the hoist is catching on the wheel right there. And I need to be able to get it all up together. I think I can either jack the car back up now, possibly just pop that wheel off, and then I'd be able to swing this over and enough to maybe get to there. Or what I might do, I might just go ahead, I may just release the parking brake inside the vehicle and roll it back a little bit, just to give me a little bit more space up here kind of to work with. I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this back. All right, so the engine is now on the stand. I've got it pushed semi to the back of the garage. I'm still gonna need to move the car further up forward, make some more space back there to get the engine all the way pushed back, because as you've seen in the previous video, I do have some coolant sitting on the back of one of the intake valves. Still need to figure out what's going on with that. But realistically, that's probably gonna be something for a later date. But nonetheless, the engine bay is now empty. This is a new look for me with this car. I've not seen it like this, and this is a new experience for me, pulling a motor and a transmission out of a previously running and driving vehicle. But nonetheless, I have a bunch of space in here now, which is actually going to push us much further along with this project. So the next step for me with the car is realistically just kind of finish tidying up the engine bay, getting the radiator to come out now that it's not actually holding the engine in place. I can start kind of getting the last little bit of stuff out of here. It's really nothing specific needs to happen really so much with the engine bay as much as getting the garage kind of cleared back up, kind of making some more space in here to where I can get the car kind of aligned in the spot where it's going to start really sitting. Basically, not permanently, but for the meantime until all the repair work is done. So I can then from there get the car jacked up, take the subframes out from underneath it, finish taking out, pretty well just taking out the interior, and really getting everything done. Then from there, once I've got the car as basically just a shell, there's a couple things I'm gonna do before I actually do what I'm about to say, but once I get the car basically as a shell, sitting, nothing attached to it, and I can start tearing it apart, from there I'm gonna be going in and building out a jig, so that way I can set the car on the jig. I can have some fixed mounting points, for important parts of the car. And from there, whenever I go to replace panels, I can make sure that whenever I'm putting the new ones back in, they're gonna be in all the right spots. So the next thing that you're probably gonna be seeing from me on this channel is probably going to be kind of a little overview of all the sheet metal that I've purchased so far for this car. I'm hoping I can get away with just the amount that I have purchased, but even in just pulling the engine out, I found another rust spot in one of the frame rails up here. So there's a possibility that I might have a few more, green panels coming my way for this car. But nonetheless, I'm probably gonna do a little update video, kind of showcase what I have planned, why I've picked the parts that I have chosen, and really what the goal is going to be for the metal repair that is gonna be happening with this car. So I appreciate you watching. If you've made it this far, I would love it, if you would subscribe to the channel, drop a like, drop a comment, tell me what you think, what your experiences have been doing this. If you bought one of those kind of nasty jigs, 2,000-pound engine stands, and have had either good luck with them, bad luck with them, let me know. I'm curious. But that is realistically, that's where I'm gonna kind of round out this video. The engine's out. That's really what I wanted to get done today. So I'm pretty pleased with that, and I'm going to wash all the dirt off of my face and go to bed. So thank you for watching.